The story started off in a slum, with two kids looking at a small child, wondering if she was alright. They thought she was really cute, and her eyes seemed just like those of an angel's. One day, our protagonist, Ochibi, fell on the ground out of malnutrition, and the ones taking care of hers, those two kids from earlier who adopted her, were worried if she would be alright. The girl was Nene, age 13, and the other guy's name was Oni, a boy of 15. Ochibi was just 5 years old, and since they were orphans living in slums, Ochibi couldn't do anything about her malnutrition. Oni asked Ochibi to rest, while he and Nene would go out to find food for them today. They went out worried for Ochibi, hoping she would be fine while they were gone. Ochibi pretended to be fine, and once they left, she let out a breath of relief after acting it tough for the sake of those two. After collapsing last time, she began to remember things from her past life and realized that she had been reincarnated into another world. Although she could hardly remember anything about her past, she could remember how the world was in her previous life, where science was really advanced and there was no magic. Now, in her current life, Ochibi lives in a slum. Even her name, Ochibi, was given after her cute, chubby-looking face. She was really grateful for those kids, Oni and Nene, for taking her in and looking after her. Now, Ochibi wonders if she has some sort of cheat skills like those fantasy novels on iseka'd. Ochibi tried checking her status, and it really popped up right in front of her. She was delighted to see it work, but she was disappointed that even the status had accepted her new name, Ochibi, making it impossible to know her real name from previous life. Furthermore, she doesn't have any magic skills as well, which kinda kills the fun of being iseka'd. Next, her eyes fell upon her sole skill, imagination creation, which could be used once per day. She was curious to learn more about her skill, and the name was implying that she could create anything she imagined. Ochibi thought about what she should make. She needed to be careful since it was limited to once per day. She wondered what she wanted the most. The thing that came to her mind at first was money, since she was hella poor right now. But the problem was she never even got to see how money looks in this world, so she can't do anything about it, leaving her lying clueless on the ground. Then her stomach growled, urging her to just use her skill to get something to eat first, since she was malnourished. Ochibi wondered what would be good for her. She had not eaten anything proper in this world till now. She then got an idea of getting those tasty cuisines from Japan with her skill, bringing juice to her mouth. She was having trouble picking what would be fulfilling for her and the other two kids who were out looking for food. She had to think of something they all can eat, and after deciding, she got up with excitement and used her skill to craft a 5-kilogram bag of rich quality rice. It's been so long since she got to see some rice, so it was a touching moment for her. Right then, she noticed the other two kids, Oni and Nene, returned with some scrap food they came across while searching. They were confused about the light they saw just now, to which Ochibi replied she had something interesting to show them. Nene dashed to hug Ochibi out of worry, feeling happy to see her standing properly on her feet. Ochibi assured she was doing better now, which relieved Nene, and she claimed to have brought some wild plants for them to eat. But then Ochibi showed them the food she prepared for them, which kind of put the other two in a daze. They had never seen a strange bag like this before. Ochibi told them what they should expect was the rice inside the bag. Oni asked her where she got it, to which Ochibi replied that she used her skill to make it. Apparently, while they were gone, she gained a skill, feeling proud of herself. Oni and Nene were amazed to hear it. Nene cuddled her, praising her for being amazing and thinking of them with her skill. Ochibi saw Nene was crying. She claimed it was nothing. She just remembered something from the past. At a side, she asked Ochibi how they were going to eat the rice now, since they never cooked it before. Ochibi told them the process to cook rice by putting it inside a pot with water and cooking it until water disappears. Nene figured it seemed easy enough, so they should get started with it, and Oni was also up for help by preparing fire for them. Nene found a weary pot and used water magic to fill it, while Oni went ahead and grabbed some sticks, then focused on activating his fire magic. Ochibi recalled from her memories of this life that Nene and Oni could use magic, and she was kind of jealous of them, wanting to use magic herself as well, like those iseka'd novels. After they were done with preparing rice, Nene and Oni kept asking if it was done, feeling too hungry to eat right away. Ochibi, who was more hungry, asked them to wait, promising she would make them eat the best cooked rice. Once the rice was cooked, they served it, and the aroma pulled them in to dive into eating right away. After they took their first bite, Nene couldn't help but compliment the delicious rice. It was her first time eating it, and Oni's reaction was no different. As for Ochibi, she was becoming emotional as a Japanese person whose love for rice was no joke, and to be eating it for the first time in this life was just too cruel on her. The trio had plenty to eat today, so they ate till they were all satisfied. Oni thanked Ochibi for the food today. Nene too thanked her, since they were able to eat properly after so long because of her. Ochibi also thanked them for bringing those wild plants for her, which really meant a lot. Ochibi was feeling happy to see Nene and Oni's smiling faces, and she feels obligated to be the one to thank them, because even though life was hard enough for them to survive on their own in slums, They still chose to raise Ochibi with them and took really good care of her as well. But now Ochibi knows she can't let them stay in the slums anymore because along with her past life memories, she also remembered the sanitation problems in slums. And also, she could die out of malnourishment here. In slums, it won't be strange if they get sick anytime. So they must escape this place somehow. Ochibi decided to make full use of her past life memories, along with her imagination creation skill, to improve their situation enough to get out of these slums. So her first goal was obviously to make money, and before that, learn about money in this world. She has to succeed to make Nene and Oni happy. Although they wonder what was Ochibi going on about by making weird gestures out of nowhere. The next day, Ochibi asked them how she could make money, to which they replied after a bit of thinking. They would have to sell any valuables to make money. Ochibi asked if they could get a job somewhere, to which Oni replied that it's impossible for people from slums like them to get a proper job out there. They were heavily discriminated against in most places. Ochibi figured if they were not allowed to work, then guessed the only choice left was to sell valuables to stores. She wondered what kind of things they usually buy. Nene and Oni replied they could sell herbs, nuts, or fruits. Ochibi thought about what she could make with her skill to sell, like salt, pepper, or honey. Although she would have to make sure the store guys don't suspect a little girl from slums like her selling honey. She decided to give it a try to make some honey, and ended up crafting a jar of honey, 1,200 grams, which would have been worth 4,800 yen back in Japan. Oni and Nene were amazed to see her skill in action, but they were not sure what was that transparent thing she crafted. Ochibi told them it's honey inside a glass container. They found it hard to believe there could be glass of that quality. And now Ochibi suggested they should head out to sell this to make some money. But Oni and Nene had some worry and told her it's best not to sell it like this because they have not seen such a magnificent glass bottle before, which means selling something of this quality could bring them trouble. People would start having suspicions on them about stealing goods and selling them. From their words, Ochibi got one thing. Glass was very precious in this world. In that case, she figured they should transfer honey to a different container before selling. That seemed like a good idea. But Oni mentioned that they can't go to just any store, since there were only a few stores who would treat slum kids like them kindly. After that, they guided Ochibi to the store which had been most kind to them, named Joshua's General Store, and they went to the back door because obviously it would look bad for slum kids to enter a store. Ochibi asked if this store was really friendly to them. Nene assured it was right, and they also give them leftovers sometimes. And a girl came out through the back door. She was Jane, the owner of this store. Nene was a bit nervous as she asked Jane if she could purchase something from them. Ochibi asked Oni why was Nene so anxious. Oni replied that's because of something that happened a while back. Nene presented the honey to Jane, and she asked if she could take a lick to assess it. After she tasted honey, she could tell it was of really good quality, with no unpleasant taste or appearance, which made her ready to buy it. Nene asked if she could have the container back. Jane didn't mind and went to transfer honey into another container and weigh it as well. Nene sighed in relief. Ochibi said the woman was really kind. Nene agrees with her and stated that normally people would not even listen to a slum kid like her. Today, when they were on sale, they were treated kindly and fairly. Later, Jane came back after weighing the honey, which turned out to be 98 grams. She also talked about it to her husband and decided to rate the honey at 2 riras per gram. Ochibi realized that riru is the currency of this world. Then Jane asked if 196 riras would be all right for the honey. Nene and Oni were astonished and asked if that much was really fine. Judging by their reactions, Ochibi figures the honey was sold for a good price. And with that, she finally got paid. Later, Nene and Oni thanked Ochibi for another good meal. Today, they were eating rice again with some cheap meat. Ochibi thanked those two for negotiating the honey deal. And she learned today that 1 riru of this world amounts to 1 copper coin, which could get bread. So 1 riru was about 120 to 140 yen, which means the honey was sold for about 20,000 yen. No wonder Nene and Oni were so surprised. And now that she learned about how money was calculated in this world, she was one step closer to escaping slums. However, the problem was, while Oni and Nene were happy by having meat today, Ochibi was feeling a little self-conscious because the meat they were having was rats, which was considered normal cheap meat in this world. For Ochibi, who regained her memories, she was reluctant to eat it. But since she was malnourished, she had to do everything for protein. Surprisingly, Ochibi unexpectedly found the meat delicious and had dinner. Later that night, she was having some snacks, thinking about their future, and talking about it with Nene and Oni. She told them if things remain as they are, they won't be able to escape this slum life, which is why they got to take drastic measures to improve their life little by little. Oni and Nene asked her how to do that, to which she replied they would start by cleaning themselves, not to be rude. She had to say, honestly, they were currently filthy. It kind of hurt their sentiments, and they apologized for being filthy. Ochibi said sorry for being too direct, and explained properly that it's because of their appearance that they can't enter stores. If they dressed nicely, they would be treated like customers. Nene thought that might just work, and Oki was smart to figure it out. But Oni asked where do they start from. She told them to first start with washing their body every day, then wash their clothes often. Nene asked if they washed their clothes, what they would wear. Ochibi already thought of it. They would buy clothes with the money they got by selling honey and dress properly. Afterwards, they went to shop for clothes and got themselves some cute clothes, totaling about 150 riro. Ochibi knew it was a bit pricey for them, but it was an investment for the future. With this, they won't look like slum dwellers anymore. Nene was also happy to be wearing new clothes. As for Oni, he was feeling a bit uneasy in new tight clothes, since he hadn't worn clothes like these before. Also, when he thinks about the large sum of money they spent on clothes, he wondered if it was really fine. Just thinking about it makes his mind go dizzy. Ochibi did admit 150 riru was a lot of money for a slum kid, but she assured it's all right, since it was a necessary expense for their future. She wanted to escape slums together with them, and her words gave Oni courage. He smiled and patted her head, saying she's right. They need to take steps forward to turn their life around. He thanked Ochibi for thinking about everything from. Ochibi was glad, and now she recalled that she could only hone her skills once per day, so she would postpone the soap for later and use it for something more urgent today. She made them a bathtub. Oni and Nene were wondering what it was this time. Ochibi explained about the bathtub and asked Nene to fill it with water, and Oni would warm it up with fire magic to create a hot water bath. They would remove dirt from their bodies like this. After they followed the bath prep process, it was already ready. Ochibi told them to get in now. However, Oni was shy and told Nene to use the bath first. He'll bathe after them. Ochibi asked why don't they bathe together instead, totally clueless about the situation. Oni just left, saying he would come back later for a bath. Nene explained a bit of the situation to Ochibi, saying she was a bit young to understand, but girls and boys can't bathe together. Ochibi understood it right away and wondered why she said that. Maybe a child's body affected her. The next day, they went to Joshua's shop to sell something again. Jane came out and recognized it was the same kids. They look completely different now. Nene mentioned they try to keep themselves clean with the help of soap crafted by Ochibi's skill. Jane told them these clothes suit them, and they should prepare like this regularly. They thanked her. Ochibi wanted to sell her more honey. Jane noticed Ochibi seemed to have something in mind, so she asked her about it. Ochibi mentioned that they were all cleaned up at the end of the store now. Jane realized what she meant and allowed them to come in, on condition to not cause any inconveniences to other customers. Ochibi and the other two were glad to hear that, and Ochibi promised to come by to sell more honey later. They took another step to escape slums. From their next sales, they bought themselves shoes, bread, and some more meat. They were a bit expensive, but another necessary expense. Now, Ochibi figured they have enough for grooming. So Ochibi called out the other two and asked, now that they earned some money, why don't they stay at an inn in the town? Oni and Nene made a concerned expression and said it's impossible because they don't have any ID. They need one to be allowed to stay at an inn. And without a citizen ID or a guild ID, no one would even pay attention to them. And for getting a merchant guild card, they would need a recommendation from a high-ranking person. However, Nene might know something useful, that one could join Hunter's guild without any restrictions. But there was a registration fee for it. Ochibi knew it. In the end, everything ends with money. You can't get anywhere without it. If that's the case, she decided to sell more honey and head straight to Hunter's guild the next day. She had some more plans about their next sale. The following day, they were standing before the front gate of Joshua's general store and were a bit nervous since they only got in through the back door until now. Nene greeted as she entered, stating she was here to sell something. Jane welcomed them in, and they told her they brought honey to sell today as well. Jane was ready to buy the honey. And there was one more guy standing at the desk who was Joshua, the owner of the store, and also Jane's husband. He knows about the slum kids who bring them honey. And now that he met them, he thought they didn't look like they were from slums. After Joshua introduced himself to his wife again, he mentioned being curious about the honey brought by the little ones. Ochibi liked how Joshua treated them nicely, despite knowing they were from slums. Then she signaled Oni to begin the plan. Oni brought out a jar of honey from the pouch, seeing which Joshua was astounded, because he had never seen glass of this quality before. They told him it also has the honey they had been selling for a while now, and this time they planned on selling the whole container. It was Ochibi's secret plan, and the others were worried if it'll be okay, because that could be dangerous, especially if they ask where it came from. They need to keep Ochibi's skill a secret. Nene didn't want Ochibi to catch any bad guys' attention, or they'll kidnap her. Ochibi claimed she got a secret up her sleeve to deal with situations like that. Since she was so sure of herself, Nene and Oni decided to trust her, since she had been the one thinking of crucial things for them for a while now. Now in present, Joshua was surprised, as he asked if she was really sure about selling this product to her. Ochibi asked him how much he would pay. Joshua went silent for a bit, then asked the kids where on earth did they get it from. Oni and Nene knew this was coming, and they looked forward to what Ochibi would do. But right then, Ochibi stated she can't reveal her business secrets to anyone. The way she said it left everyone speechless for a moment. And Oni and Nene totally didn't see this coming. They didn't expect Ochibi's secret plan to show smugness and look more suspicious like that. They wish they should have handled it themselves. And now they try to make different excuses to Joshua and Jane. They even swore the goods were not stolen. But Joshua and Jane chuckled, which left the kids puzzled. They told them not to worry. They understood if it was stolen, they would not be able to sell it in the open. Joshua claimed to be in this business for years, so he has a good eye for people. He never saw glass of such high quality, which means it must be related to their magic or something. The kids know he got it right away, but Ochibi related the same line. Again, they can't reveal trade secrets. Joshua assured he'll refrain from asking further and evaluate the glass and honey for now. He asked them to wait while he went to evaluate it. Oni and Nene took a breath of relief. Ochibi was glad everything worked out somehow, meaning her plan worked. Oni wouldn't call that a plan, while Nene almost believed Ochibi made a really great plan. Soon enough, Joshua came back and said he'll buy the honey at the same rate, 2 riru per gram, totaling to 2,002 riris for 1,001 grams of honey. It sounded great enough to them. Next came the price for a jar, and he said it would be 10,000 riris for 1 jar. The kids were left dumbfounded after hearing such a high price. Ochibi thought if that were to be counted in yen, that would come out to be a shocking 1 million yen. She can't believe a glass container was going for that high. And Oni and Nene, on the other hand, thought it was a scary amount of money for a container. Joshua replied it's fine, since they have never seen glass with such a clear and smooth surface. And it even has a metal lid with tightly closing. Normally, it wouldn't be surprising to be worth even more than that. So the price offered was the best Joshua could do at his shop. Ochibi calculated they would earn a total of 12,000 riris. And with that, they were suddenly a bit rich. Ochibi was surprised, like Nene, while Oni was scared to have so much money in his hands. Ochibi thought it's like children walking around with over 1 million yen. Oni then got an idea and told Ochibi why don't they treat her skill as magic. If needed, they would claim that their products were formed by 3 of them combining their magic together. So Ochibi won't be targeted by anyone in future. Nene liked the idea as well, and Oni added they would use this only when they absolutely needed to talk about it. Ochibi told him he was quite smart, and now that they have money, all 3 of them decided to head to the Hunters Guild. Ochibi didn't know how much the registration fee was, but with the amount of money they have now, it should be enough. And while she's thinking of guild, she was eager to see those beautiful receptionist ladies from novels she read about. At the Hunters Guild, they went inside, wondering where they should go in here. Ochibi was worried if they would get in some trouble, since they were supposed to be bad guys as well, according to novels. She prepared a little to face them to protect Oni and Nene. Then a receptionist greeted them, and Ochibi finally found the beautiful guild lady. The receptionist could tell the kids were first-timers here. Oni told her they came to register here, but were unsure what to do. The receptionist asked them if that's so. Ochibi confirmed it, and the guild receptionist found Ochibi cute. She mentioned having come from a break and would guide them from here. Ochibi was flustered after being called cute by a beautiful lady and gave a Shinchan smile, after which the receptionist took them to the receptionist and introduced herself properly as Irene, the Hunters Guild receptionist. She was about to start explaining things to the kids, but then she noticed Ochibi had trouble reaching the counter. So she got her a stool, which fixed the issue, and she apologized for realizing it late. Ochibi was moved by her kindness, which goes along with her beauty. Now that they were ready, she explained that anyone over the age of 12 could register at the guild. And when they register, they start from different levels, from 1 to 5. Ochibi was hung up on the required age of 12 and asked if she really can't join the guild. If that happened, she would be left out behind, and maybe she can't escape the slums either. She wondered what to do now. But then Irene told her there was a solution, that she could get a provisional registration. That way, she would be treated like an apprentice instead of a full-fledged hunter, and there would be some more restrictions, like not being able to take quests alone and not being able to progress further than level 1 until she's 12 years old. Ochibi was just glad she could register. Next, Nene asked Irene about the cost for registration. Irene replied it's about 100 riru for people with citizenship cards, but if they don't have one, it would be 500 riris. It was quite a lot more than Ochibi expected, but it makes sense to avoid scammers. The total for 3 of them would be 1,500 riru, which was expensive at first, but it'll be fine for them, since they earned enough from selling the glass jar. She knew having money was so much satisfying, and since everything was decided, they asked Irene to register the 3 of them in the guild. Irene asked them to fill the registration form in that case, with all the necessary information required. She asked if they would need a substitute writer for them to fill the form. Nene told her it's fine. She could write for them. While she was filing the forms, Ochibi recalled she could not learn reading and writing in this world. She only knew Japanese and English from her world, whereas Oni seems to be able to read a little, but as for writing, he could only write his own name. Nene, on the other hand, seemed to have self-learned reading and writing from somewhere. Ochibi recalled that Oni and Nene actually have proper names, Like Oni's real name was Marco, 15 years old, and Nene's real name was Seal. She was 13 years old, and apparently Ochibi was abandoned in the slums 2 years ago, so she doesn't have a proper name. Then Nene asked Ochibi if she wanted to highlight her name and special skill. Oni decided to write magic he was good at. Nene wrote about her water magic, while keeping Ochibi's skills a secret. As they neared the filling of forms, Ochibi, who seemed to be happy till now, suddenly got stressed when she remembered that she didn't actually have a proper name. Nene and Oni just called her that because of her looks. No way they could write it in real life. She tried asking Nene about it, to which she replied, Ochibi, don't need to worry. She won't put Ochibi as her name. Ochibi was relieved, and Nene told her she put her name in the form as Amy. Ochibi was shocked that her name was decided without her knowing. Oni and Nene were a bit startled, realizing they never told Ochibi what her real name was that they gave her. But when Nene told her that her name, Amy, means friends, it made her happy. And since Nene was happy, Ochibi didn't mind her name at all. Now, Irene asked them for the registration fee and gave them proofs for their registration certificates. With this, they have finally gotten out of slums and now could live in the town. Now, Ochibi had to decide what's next, so she asked Irene if they could get a recommendation for booking a room. Irene suggested they could stay in a dormitory plaza for level 1 hunters. And there's an open yard for cheap for those who can't afford an inn. The three didn't know anything at all, so Irene just showed them the place, and Ochibi now understood what she meant by calling it a relief measure for beginner hunters short on money. It costs about 1 riru per day, and they need to bring their own tent to the yard to stay. Ochibi thought about it and said she'll come back after deciding. They checked the yard and saw nobody else was using it, maybe because they preferred staying inside the rooms. Moreover, the yard was bumpy and small, meaning even if they set a tent, it would be uncomfortable. Oni asked if they should choose a dormitory then, but Ochibi suggested the yard would be great instead, because while the room sounded better, they can't bring all their stuff like a bathtub, and Ochibi can't use her skills without catching eyes. Compared to that, this yard was kind of isolated. Nobody would come to check them. She also noticed that the yard had large weeds, which seemed like a good idea to her. She told them they could keep their stuff hidden behind the grass to make it less noticeable. After planning things, they went back to their stuff, and to carry all the stuff at once, Ochibi thought about what she should make to transport them. She got an idea and crafted an aluminium folding rear cart with puncture-free tires, which would have cost 89,000 yen. Oni and Nene were amazed to see something new again, even if they didn't understand anything about it. Ochibi showed them how to unfold the cart, and now it was all ready for use. Oni trembled a bit because he was excited by this cart. Ochibi understood right away. Since boys like that sort of thing, he's thrilled. Nene figures they could fit all their luggage in the cart. Then Ochibi suddenly encounters a system window, notifying her skill level. She jumped for joy, and 2 others asked her what happened to her. Ochibi told them it's her skill, which leveled up, and now she could use it 2 times a day. They wonder what it means for them. Ochibi explained simply that she could craft one more thing today. She was planning to create something livable this time. Nene and Oni praised her. She was amazing, and there's that Shinchan smile again. They proceeded to move their stuff now, while Ochibi was happy about one more thing, her name, which had been changed to Amy in status. Oni wondered what made Ochibi so zoned out, and they moved the stuff cart around to that yard. Irene asked them for 3 riru for 3 people, and now they got this yard to themselves. Now, they just have to remove a little bit of weed. After cleaning for a while, Oni and Nene asked if this much space would be fine. They asked Ochibi what they were going to do now. She asked them to leave it to her. She tried to craft something, but failed at first attempt. She tried creating something else, but it didn't work either. Nene and Oni asked her what's wrong. She seemed to be worried, and suddenly they witnessed a large thing appearing out of nowhere in front of their eyes. Apparently, Ochibi had decided to craft something to live in with her skill. When she thought about some kind of temporary residence, something which could be moved around and made into a home, she thought up a large camper made in foreign countries. She failed at first attempt, making her wonder what went wrong and why she couldn't craft it. She wondered if something smaller would do, going for a camper based on a light truck. But this time, too, her skill didn't work at all, leaving her in a pinch. She repeated a few more other livable vehicles, but they all failed one by one, worrying her if she would have to go back to slums. Lastly, she decided to try one more time to craft a cheap light van. This time it worked, and she crafted a van worth 148,000 yen. She was glad it finally worked. She almost panicked then. But even so, she had to know what was different this time. Could there be a limit to weight or the size of an object she could craft? That didn't seem to be the case, and in the end she wondered if it was the price of the items that defines what could be crafted. Ochibi decided to test it in the future, and she heard the confused voices of the other 2, asking her what was this thing with shiny glass windows. Ochibi apologized if she surprised them, and explained simply that this vehicle with a rare engine would be their new home from now on. It was also portable while acting as a shelter, so they could move it away easily if they ever wanted to. Oni was once again enchanted by cool stuff, and it seems his boyish instincts were simulated. Now, I got a house to live in, but Nene was worried if the guild staff would notice it. Ochibi had an idea to make a camouflage for it. She told them to help her put some rags and wooden boards together to cover the car and make it seem like a tent. Nene and Oni liked the idea and praised Ochibi for being so smart. They began making the camouflage and also organized their things while they were at it. Ochibi was glad they were able to get out of slums and have a temporary residence in a better place. Before evening, they were done with organizing stuff, and now Ochibi suggested they should grab some dinner. Oni and Nene were getting hungry as well, since they worked a lot today. Ochibi told them how about they go and splurge a little on food to celebrate their escape from slums. She wanted to try eating at the guild's cafeteria. Nene wondered if they were allowed to eat there. Oni was sure it's going to be all right, since they were now members of the guild. Ochibi asked Oni if they have enough money. Oni told her they have 10,000 rairis after everything. So it was decided today was a celebration. They went to Hunter Guild's cafeteria, but there didn't seem to be anyone around this time. And a scary-looking guy, with a scar on his face, asked if they were newbies here. The guy's appearance scared the three kids, and Oni mustered up courage to explain they registered just today. The guy understood they were newbies after all, and welcomed them in the cafeteria, wishing them good luck for the future. Although, they wonder what future he was talking about. The guy asked if they wanted to order something. Oni spoke up for them, saying they wanted to celebrate their first day at guild, in which case the cafeteria guy gave them a menu. The kids looked at the menu, but since Oni and Ochibi can't read the letters, Nene was up for deciding what to order. But since Nene doesn't know many food names either, she was from slums, Ochibi decided to ask the cafeteria guy, asking first if she could call him master. The guy didn't mind it and said everyone calls him that, introducing himself as cafeteria's master, named Mason. Ochibi asked if he had any recommendations. Mason recommended them to try today's special menu, which was boar steak set at 5 rira price. The moment Ochibi heard steak, she wanted to have it right away, and the other two also wanted to have meat. The three decided their orders, and Oni asked for 3 sets from them. But Mason suggested they should order only 2 servings, which should be enough for them since they were kids. It's better to eat plenty without leftovers. Ochibi ordered 2 in that case, and the 3 were now off to choose seats. Mason then called them out, and Ochibi was scared, thinking if this was going to be trouble. But turns out, Mason knows just the right seat for them and guided them to it. He kept in mind they were kids, so normal tables would have been hard for them to eat. Ochibi realized this scary-looking master was actually kind. And now that she thinks about it, he also thoughtfully told them to order 2 servings. Otherwise, a bad person would have told them to order 3, since it'll profit more. The 3 now understand Mason better, and kind of feel sorry for being scared of him. Ochibi was looking forward to their order. Oni mentioned he never thought the day would come when they eat in a place like this. Nene thought so as well, and they looked at Ochibi, who made it all possible. They thanked her for everything, but she didn't understand why suddenly. Oni stated if not for her, they would not have been able to escape slums and only be able to do their best to survive every day. Nene was also grateful, as Ochibi thought for them and took action to escape the slums. They were really thankful for her, because remembering those days where they had to go through painful and hard times every day. They can't thank Ochibi enough for changing their lives and saving them. Seeing tears in their eyes, Ochibi felt emotional and recalled the time when those 2 took her in. They thought she looked like an angel, but Oni hated gods because they left a cute child abandoned in a place like slum. That day, they took her in because they didn't want her to suffer, especially considering if church people take her in. Who knows what they would do to her? Nene and Oni decide they'll raise Ochibi, and Oni can't say no, since he himself would feel bad to leave a child like that. And since Nene was the one requesting, he had no choice either. Nene thanked him for agreeing. And that day, Ochibi called them Nene and Oni, since she couldn't speak properly as a child that time. Oni wasn't really an Oni, which was the word for monster here, while Nene laughed at his reaction. They began to call her Ochibi that day, since she was cute and chubby. Ochibi here can't hold back her tears, because even if she doesn't remember where she came from and who she really was, all she could do in the slums was to sit in a corner. But Nene called her, and they both took her and saved her life. After that, she started to think she could live in this world only because of both of them. Now, Oni and Nene stated they should eat. Ochibi wiped her tears and smiled as the 3 began to eat, saying bye to their painful days and looking forward to happy ones ahead. Mason knew those kids were having their moment. He didn't want to interrupt, while Irene, who noticed them from back, wondered what could be the story of these kids. The next morning, Ochibi told them they would now work towards stabilizing their new life out of slums, for which they would have to accomplish achievements in the Hunters Guild. Oni and Nene were up for the plan, and with that, they headed to the Hunters Guild. But there, many people were already standing in front of the quest board, which already exhausted the spirits of poor kids. And since Nene was the only one who could read, she mustered up courage to get in the crowd to look for quests. Oni told her it would be dangerous for her to head in a crowd now, so they better wait till the crowd disappears. After a while, Oni asked Nene what's wrong. Nene replied most of the quests on board were for collection, like catching monsters and animals, collecting rare plants, and so on. Oni knows they can't take up dangerous quests, and Ochibi doesn't think Oni and Nene's magic was powerful enough for it. Nene guessed even the collection of rare plants might need them to go to dangerous places as well, which would also be difficult. Nene wonders if they could gather normal medicinal herbs, except they don't have any knowledge on it. Oni asked Ochibi if she knows anything, but she doesn't seem to be knowledgeable about it either. She can't compare the medicinal herbs from her previous life to ones in this world. They were kind of stuck now before even their first quest, and Ochibi thought hard about what they should do now. She then asked Nene who gave these quests. She replied it was local shops, clinics, and many more people who require stuff from quests. Public officials, nobles, and even churches even post some quests. Oni made it clear he would never do anything for the church. Ochibi wondered if by shops from town they could have a shop help out with it. Something like putting up a quest only they could do. She got an idea and asked the other two to head to Joshua's general store. She came up with a great idea. By her idea, Nene and Oni wonder if she was up to something smug again, which scared both of them, and they asked Ochibi to let's talk about her plan first before doing anything. Later, they went to Joshua's store, and Jane and Joshua welcomed them in, asking if they brought more honey today. Ochibi stated she got a request regarding that honey. She mentioned they recently joined Hunter's Guild, which made Jane and Joshua really happy, since they know not many people manage to get out of slums. Ochibi was happy they were nice people. Then Nene thanked them for helping them in their struggle. They treated them kindly from the beginning, for which they were really grateful and would like to thank them. Jane told them it's because of their efforts that everything happened. Then Joshua asked if their request had something to do with the Hunter's Guild. Ochibi agreed and asked them if they could post a quest for honey at Hunter's Guild. Joshua understood what she wanted to do, as she must want to take that quest for records. She stated that they can't publicly reveal the source of that honey, but if they keep coming to sell it directly to Joshua, it might catch a lot of attention eventually, since honey was a luxury product. And if that source comes from a kid from slums, their credibility would be low, and no one would want to buy honey in future. But if they trade through the Hunter's Guild, the credibility would be high, and they could advertise that they got items from the guild. That way, Ochibi and her team would also get credit for completing the quest, which was a win-win for both sides. She asked Joshua what he thought. Joshua understood what she meant. By involving the Hunter's Guild, they would make the source of honey harder to track. Ochibi was nervous about what he was going to say, but Joshua also liked the idea. Oni was confident it would work out, ever since they talked about the plan along the way. Nene was sure it would work as well, since their Ochibi was really smart. Then Joshua added one more thing, that it might be a bit of a loss for Ochibi and her team, since handling Hunter's Guild means they would be charged a fee for their earnings. Ochibi believed money was important, but now what they need more is a track record. Oni also added they wanted to be proud they made a mark in the Hunter's Guild and live an honest life. Nene also wanted visible proof that they were living independently. Joshua and Jane liked how these kids thought and agreed to do as they asked, to put a quest on Hunter's Guild for honey. Ochibi and other two thanked him, but then Joshua asked how should he put the request, because if he writes just honey, they would end up receiving more quest takers, and some honey, which wasn't from the kids. Ochibi suggested giving that honey a name like Japanese honey, and since nobody knows what Japanese honey was except for them, others won't accept that quest. And even if someone other than them were to accept the request, Joshua could just say no by saying it wasn't what they wanted. Joshua agreed to do just that, and with this, things with Joshua's store went great for kids. Then Ochibi asked them if they wanted something other than honey, adding that she and her team could make something other than honey now. She asked them because they don't know what things are in demand now. Jane and Joshua seemed kind of surprised by her words, making her wonder if she did something wrong. Joshua started, it's just that demand and request were some difficult words for a kid to use. And now that he thought about it, Ochibi had always been a good talker in deals. Ochibi realized she might have been talking on like a 5-year-old. Then she looked at Oni and Nene, then claimed she just learned by seeing Oni and Nene talk about stuff. So that means they were really amazing. Oni and Nene didn't have an idea themselves if they were that smart, and Joshua asked them if they study a lot. They replied it's not like this. Then Jane asked something she was curious about, that ever since the kids started cleaning up themselves, they smell nice like flowers. Nene replied it's probably because of soap, but Jane hasn't smelled soap like that. Ochibi replied that their soaps were made from plants, and they smell great. Jane was interested in seeing it, and hinted they might want soap as another product to sell. Ochibi told them she'll bring it next time, after which they returned to their new home, which was in the guild's yard. Oni and Nene were glad to see they have more products to sell now, and Ochibi was about to summon honey and soap right away. She stopped to wonder if she could craft more things at once than making them one by one. She got an idea and just crafted a whole pack of soaps, which was a great way to use her skill efficiently. Now that she got a whole set of soap of 3 types, they decided to take one of each to the shop. When they entered, Ochibi announced they got 3 kinds of soap here, seeing which Joshua and Jane were interested and wanted to try them. The soap and smell of the soap made them feel like they were nobles. And to think they could try 3 different scents of soap was just amazing. They knew it would definitely sell. So Joshua decided to buy the trial soaps and thought about pricing them at 100 riru for each. Ochibi and the other 2 were fine with the price. Ochibi knew that 100 riru would mean around 10,000 yen, which was definitely an excellent price for soap. She understood soap was considered a more luxurious product here, and Joshua asked if he could add soap to the quested guild. She asked him to put whole names of the soaps to avoid other unwanted products. And now she doesn't have to worry about making achievements at guild. With today's sale, they made 300 iris, after which Ochibi went to take a good nap. In the evening, they went to pay for their stay at an open field. Irene greeted them and suggested why don't they pay in lump sum to avoid coming every day to pay for it. Ochibi figured they could do that and was thankful for Irene thinking about them, as caring and beautiful as always. Irene asked if the 3 of them were going to live together, in which case it'll be better for them to form a team. As a team, they'll get more achievement points, and they will be promoted faster and together. Except that Ochibi can't be promoted until she turns 12. Oni asked what they have to do to form a team. Irene said they just have to fill a form. It does not cost anything extra. The 3 decided to fill the form. Nene listed their main duty as gathering items, and she asked what they should name their team. Ochibi was taken aback by the fact that when it came to her name, Nene went ahead and wrote it herself. But for the team name, she wanted everyone's opinion. She decided to take revenge by choosing a name of her choice for the team. She thought real hard with her little brain, trying to come up with a good name that will sound unique. Ochibi got an idea and asked why don't they make their team as promotion. Nene didn't expect a name like that, and Ochibi tried to convince her for it, saying that name definitely stands out and also defines their growth. Oni figured since the team name aligned with their goals, it sounded good, and Nene was also on board with the name. Irene also liked the name promotion, although she had a different pronunciation of it. Their accents, which were actually cute, took aback Ochibi, so she just let them be. With this, their team's name was decided and they would be called Team Promotion from now on. The next morning, they went to the guild and saw the quest from Joshua General Store. Nene and Oni checked it out and saw the details, as it was a permanent quest for honey and soaps with a unique name. Ochibi was glad they requested for both honey and soap, although they wonder what a permanent quest means. Nene suggested they could ask a person about it, which was Irene. She explained the types of quests to them. There were 3 types of them: normal quests, designated quests, and permanent quests. For regular quests and designated quests, they would need to peel off the request form off the quest board and bring it to the counter to complete the application process. Whereas for designated quests, tasks are assigned to a particular individual or team. As for the permanent quest, it was a quest made continuously. What makes permanent stand out was that one could start working on them anytime without any process. They just have to submit a completion report or delivery report to the counter. As precaution, they would require a magic verification card with it. It was a type of verification which could not be modified except for the person who put the magic through it. Ochibi found it amazing. There wasn't anything like this in her previous life. Now that explanation was done, the kids thanked Irene and went back home to think about the future. It was a good learning experience, and taking a permanent quest was definitely good for them since they won't have to go in the crowd at the quest board. Nene thought maybe Joshua was considerate enough to make the quest permanent for their sake. Ochibi was glad and figured they should go now to deliver the goods and thank them right away. Later at Joshua's store, Joshua asked what they mean by choosing a quest type for them. He just made it a permanent quest, so he won't have to make repeated requests. Ochibi realized it was just a misunderstanding. Nene apologized for her mistake. Then Joshua told him not to worry, since it's all right, and Ochibi was glad it worked out well for him. Joshua was glad it benefited them. Then he asked them to show the goods they brought. They brought the remaining soap from last summoning and honey that Ochibi crafted the previous day. Joshua assessed the goods and came back, stating there was 5 of each soap and 1,200 gram honey. As for the glass, he asked if he could buy it separately for 10,000 riru. Today, they made a total of 13,900 riru, which in Japanese terms would have been around 1.6 million yen. Ochibi was really amazed by the price for the glass jar. Then Joshua asked her to confirm something about how much of these could be delivered and on what basis. She replied it could be the same amount every day, which sounded great, and Joshua mentioned he had been pitching these goods to some big clients, so it's possible for their demand to suddenly increase. Joshua thought it would be best to sell it to churches, but Oni didn't like the idea, so Joshua quickly changed his mind. It was better off not dealing with them since those greedy guys worship money instead of God. Jane also hated the church, since all they do is blackmail people and take what they want under pretext of offerings. They think that if they mention God's name, anything would be forgiven. Ochibi didn't expect church to be that bad in this world. And in either case, Oni seems to be relieved now. She also wanted to avoid attracting the attention of the church. Joshua continued it would be great if Ochibi could deliver as much as she could. He gave them the delivery report for their proof and said they would receive their payment after submitting it into the guild. Ochibi stated they would come back around this time tomorrow as well, and she was satisfied by the smile on Nene and Rira's faces. But to think she made $1 million in just a day was still a bit overwhelming for her. They returned to the Hunters Guild, and Irene asked if they had to ask anything else. Ochibi replied enthusiastically that the quest was already completed. Irene was a bit taken aback by it being done so quickly, and Oni handed the delivery report to her. She confirmed it really was completed and the document even had a magic verification. She wondered who these children were. Then Ochibi asked her if they did something wrong, as Irene seemed puzzled. Irene said it was nothing and congratulated them for completing their first quest. She moved on to the payment process and explained a bit first that some tax fee would be reduced from their reward money, about 10%. And additional 10% for Hunter Guild's commission. Ochibi now understood there really were charges for the payment, as Joshua said. But even if it was 20%, it was necessary to build reputation. Irene asked if they wanted to receive their payment in cash, or maybe make a deposit here at Guild. The three didn't have any idea how it worked. Irene explained the Guild would hold their money, so they won't have to carry a huge amount of cash. Ochibi understood right away it was like a bank, and she began thinking about their future. She asked Irene if it was possible for them to divide the deposit into 4 parts. 3 individual accounts for them and 1 for the team. Irene said it was possible, and Oni asked her if she wanted bail. Ochibi confirmed she would like to do so, and in 4 parts at that, which was confusing for the other 2. She stated it got something to do with the future, since they could use a team account for their team activities and use an individual account for themselves, since there were sure to be a lot of independent expenses. She also wanted them all to have personal savings for the future. Ochibi asked what they thought of it, knowing that they might be reluctant to entrust their money to a stranger. She told them it wasn't necessary if they didn't want to. Joshua replied, "It's not like that. It's just not too long ago they were doing their best just to survive, and now to think they were able to think about their future." Reminded him again they really managed to escape the slums. Nene feels the same and thanked Ochibi for thinking about them. Ochibi was moved, while Oni and Nene agreed with Ochibi's suggestion to make bail. Ochibi told their final decision to Irene, but she was tearing up after hearing their story. She went ahead and deposited in their accounts. After wrapping things up for the day, they were still left with a lot of free time for the rest of the day. From now on, their schedule will remain like this every day, which means she could now work on other things. She wishes she had magic, but as her status implies, she has none of it. She then thought of something and asked Nene and Oni if they could show her their magic. They didn't mind it, and Ochibi wanted to increase the use of magic by observing their magic and figure out what else they could do. First, water magic. Ochibi can't help but be lost in the amazing water magic used no matter how many times she sees it. She thinks her magic was mysterious, but Oni feels like Ochibi's skill was more mysterious than that. Nene stated that lately she had been feeling good and using magic had become way more efficient than in the past. She doesn't feel tired even after using it continuously. Ochibi wonders if it's because she had been eating properly and recalls how easily she fills up the bath. She thought about how else they could make use of water magic, and she got an idea and went to get a pot. She asked Nene to put some water in the pot, after which she told her to try if she could separate the dust in the pot surface by using water magic. She gave it a try, while Ochibi explained it worked by forcing water between the surface and dirt. Nene had a bit of a hard time until she managed to do it. She was happy it worked, and Ochibi added that with this same method, they could do laundry. Nene now understood how it would make laundry easier, and it could also serve as her magic practice. Nene wanted to try more things as she practiced, and thanked Ochibi for figuring it out. Next, Oni and Ochibi went to an open field, and she asked him to show her fire magic. Oni mentioned she was mistaken about one thing. Actually, he could use another magic than just fire magic as well. He showed her by using his wind magic to blow some cool air and said it's his second magic, although he could only produce a little wind with it. Oni stated he never used it much since there were not many opportunities to use it. Next, he showed his fire magic to her by generating a little fire torch in his hand. Oni claims to be feeling better lately too and doesn't get exhausted by using magic anymore. Ochibi was sure now it was definitely having enough food, which changed it, and she asked him if he feels hot from his fire. Oni explained fire made by him does not hurt him, which explains things better, and she already has a use for it in her mind. She asked him if he could make the fire longer and thinner, after which he focused real hard to shape his fire, and he finally made it like she asked. Ochibi then asked if he could hold it in his hands. Oni was confused why, but she kept insisting with her cute, curiosity-filled eyes. Oni did it and asked if it's right. She found it really cool and told him if he could improve his fire magic more, it could become a sword made of fire. When Oni thought of it like that, he was also amazed by the concept of fire sword, and he was holding it. That was just so cool. And next, Ochibi asked him to try making the fire float and grow bigger. He tried forming a bigger fireball. Then she asked him to try making it fire away with wind magic. If he could do that, it would work like his own special move. Oni found the idea very likable, and he trembled to try it right off the bat. He formed the fireball again and launched it forward, but it didn't have much effect, and the flame died down after a few meters. He apologized for failing at it, since his wind magic wasn't strong at all. Ochibi told him it was good enough he at least tried it, and maybe if he keeps practicing, he might be able to do it one day. He also wanted to try various things with these concepts, and she assessed his wind magic was just a breeze for now. She thought if they could combine his fire and wind magic, it might be possible to use to dry clothes. Later in the night, they went to Guild's cafeteria to eat, and after dinner, Ochibi went to sleep while the other two went to practice magic. Ochibi was wondering what she should do, since the other two could practice magic, but she can't do that with her skill. She wished to learn more about this world, and after some thinking, she told the other two their routine from tomorrow would be them practicing magic, and they liked the idea. But Nene asked Ochibi what she was going to do. Ochibi said she wanted to learn how to read and write, in which case Nene was teaching her. Ochibi asked if she needed to practice magic. Nene knew that, but Ochibi was her priority. Right then, someone told them they could just take a course at Guild. The one saying that was Mason, and he mentioned the Guild has various courses available from reading and writing to using swords, bows, and magic. He asked if they were interested. The kids agreed they were. And at the same time, someone else also chimed in, mentioning she had been hearing them from a while now. It was Irene, who was here drinking like always. Mason reminded her she was drinking too much while still being in working hours. Irene claimed to have finished her work already, and this drink here in her hands was to congratulate the team promotion's first quest. Ochibi liked her cheerful nature. Then Irene asked Mason to give the kids 3 glasses of milk on her tab. The kids thanked her, but Oni asked if it was all right to trouble Irene outside work. She claimed to be a capable woman who could work while drinking. Mason reminded her it was definitely against the rules, but she just ignored that and explained there were 3 main types of courses at the Hunters Guild. First was courses for basic life knowledge like reading and writing, and arithmetic, law, and system courses, and hospitality and etiquette. Second was a course to enhance basic skills of a person, like magic, martial arts, swordsmanship, and basic archery. The last course was to improve knowledge and abilities as a hunter. It includes beginner hunter's course, basic herb knowledge, trap course, dismantling course, and basic search. She explained it all while the kids drank milk, and Ochibi asked if anyone could take those courses. She replied they can't just accept anyone without conditions. One would need to pay like 100 riru per day for a person. And all the courses were designed to be completed in 7 days with 1 hour lesson per day. Ochibi figured it'll take them 7 days and 700 riris to complete one course. Irene added that since tuition was expensive, no one was willing to take the courses, and most hunters can't afford to pay to study either. Ochibi knew it was expensive, but they have enough money, so they can't miss this opportunity to learn something. She replied that she'll take basic reading, writing, law, and system, and hospitality and etiquette courses. Nene wanted to take a basic magic course, and so was Oni, plus he also wanted to take a swordsmanship course, along with a beginner hunter course. Nene was confused about what to choose along with the magic course, so Ochibi suggested that she take hospitality and etiquette, since she was a beautiful woman. Moreover, she could also take hunter courses for their future activities. Nene made up her mind, and Ochibi asked Irene if there was a set timetable for classes. Irene stated the time would be adjusted according to students' desired time, so she could arrange time as they like. Ochibi confirmed they would study from tomorrow onwards then, and their timetable would be pretty hectic but fun. Nene reminded Ochibi to remember taking a nap in the afternoon, since she was low on energy as a kid. Ochibi figured she was right. Since Ochibi was malnourished, she needed to be careful. Irene told them total tuition fees would be 6,300 riru, and they could come tomorrow to finalize the rest of the formalities. Ochibi was okay with it, since she was going to earn back more with the glass jar and improve herself as well. Irene asked if they would pay in full. She went with that option without hesitation and with a smile. Irene confirmed the payment, with a smile too, now that their daily routine was set. From earning over 10,000 on mornings from deliveries to Joshua's general store, then submitting the delivery report and making more money, saving them up over time. They were enjoying their busy lives with studies, and by evening they would be exhausted and went straight to the cafeteria for food. They enjoyed their meals more after a tiring day, and Ochibi was now able to read and write. She was understanding more about this world now, which was good. Then Nene mentioned being told something in her magic course, that the way they used magic was abnormal. Ochibi was surprised it was like that, and Oni added that they were able to use their magic on their own without being taught by anyone, which should not have been possible, considering they didn't know proper chanting. And also, after they changed the shape and size of their spells, the instructor was surprised. According to them, one should not be able to interfere with magic once it's activated, unless they have a significant magical strength and control. Ochibi knew they were amazing, since they had been using magic in extreme poverty of slums, where they lacked nutrition and strength. It's like marathon runners training on higher altitudes. Nene was happy that a proper expert praised her talent. Ochibi figured since they were raised in slums, they have suffered brutal behavior from townspeople, so being praised really makes them happy. Oni, on the other hand, swore that he'll train hard to make a cool flame sword and show it to Ochibi. Ochibi was feeling left out, since the other two were training magic while she didn't have any aptitude for it. If she did, she could have done those Opie moments, so it was a bummer she was the only weak one in their trio. Irene was enjoying listening to cheerful kids, and she was glad they were doing well. Ochibi noticed Irene came to drink today too, meaning she really loves alcohol. She thought of giving her good alcohol someday with her skill. After 7 days, their courses were finished, and Ochibi prepared her today's products for sale. Right then, she received a notification of skill level up. At level 3, she could use it 3 times per day. Ochibi was excited as she could use it 3 times a day now, and her physical condition also improved than before. That aside, she recalls having used imagination craft twice already. So that means she got one more use for today. She wanted to share the good news with Oni and Nene. After hearing about her level, they congratulated her and said she was amazing. Then, cute Ochibi asked if they would like her to create something. Nene then asked the other two if she could have her wish. If it's all right, they didn't mind, and Ochibi asked her what she wanted. Nene actually wanted something for someone else, as she had been wanting to express her gratitude to Jane and her husband to return the favor. After hearing that, Ochibi and Oni recall Nene wanted to do that back when they visited a clothing shop. Ochibi still remembers when they went to the clothing store, the store lady treated them badly, and she was very rude to them just because they were orphans. And even after they showed their guild ID, she was still doubting if they even had money. And when they pulled out the gold coin, the lady got startled and asked how children like them have a gold coin. Ochibi asked out loud if she was going to sell clothes or not. Her attitude took a 180-degree turn, and she began speaking in a sweet tone. And the shoe store they went to next also treated them the same. It was the same in most of the shops. Ochibi realized at that time that Jane and Joshua were really kind to them. Nene added they treat even children like them kindly, and they have been taken care of by them a lot of times. They hope to repay their kindness one day. Nene also liked the idea and announced she'll definitely do it. Ochibi smiled seeing Nene's cute self. Then Nene chuckled. She was also reminded of something Ochibi did back then. When they were on their way home, she gave a sharp remark to the store lady that this would be the first and last time they came to buy such good clothes. They'll remember their experience here. Oni also found that satisfying, and even the store clerk was confused. Ochibi could not help as she was angry then. She held back a lot, and the other two thanked her for holding back, and also for getting angry for their sake. Ochibi's angry expression turned to cute and sweet right away, and she decided to also give gifts to Jane and her husband. They wondered what would make a good gift from. Nene thought it would be nice to give a matching item to both of them, something that they could wear. Ochibi got an idea, and the next day, they went to the store for the next delivery. Joshua thanked them, as always, for their hard work. Nene then nervously spoke. She wanted them to receive something from her. Jane and Joshua were curious if it's another product, but Nene denied that's not the case. She wanted to thank both of them for all the help they gave to them. Oni and Ochibi were cheering her from back, while Nene mustered up courage to bring out the gift and requested them to accept it. Both were surprised when they saw there was something like watches in it. Jane asked if they were really watches, which was shocking because there had not been any small watches in this world yet. Apparently, Ochibi decided those automatic watches would make the perfect gift. They would also last long through any situation due to their good build quality. She told them it's called a wristwatch. Jane and Joshua can't believe they were being given something so precious. They were hesitant to receive something this amazing. Nene told them she always wanted to thank them, so they insisted Jane accept their thanks. Jane wasn't sure how to accept it. Then Nene told her that the time she first met her, Nene's mother was sick and needed to eat something urgently. But everyone told her to get lost since she was from slums, and none of the people in town helped her. At that time, when she came to Jane and begged her for some food, she was weak-willed and almost turned around, thinking she wouldn't receive help here either. Jane gave her some food, which meant a lot for her. Only Jane was the one to treat a slum kid like he properly, even though it contained the risk of being seen as a store that gets involved with slum kids. Because Jane shared food that day, Nene was very happy and also grateful towards her. She would never forget this gratitude. Her cute face with tears of gratitude made Jane understand that gift was something more than just a gift out of gratitude. Joshua also hinted she should take it. Jane received the watches from Nene. After that, Ochibi told them how to adjust the time of the watches while she was talking to them. Nene recalled the time when she gave that bread to her mother. It helped her condition that day. Her mother also told her that God was always watching over them, so if they could still eat food, they should not forget the gratitude towards whoever helped them. Her mother left a ring for Nene and told her that ring was said belonged to an angel, so she must always cherish it and keep it hidden somewhere no one knows. Nene cried as she saw her mother lying in bed with sickness and still telling her not to do anything embarrassing ever and not to forget being kind and live her life to the fullest. She gave words of relief that God would definitely reach out to them one day. She just had to wait until the time comes when an angel would appear. The angel would have silver hair and silver eyes, like the legends. Now, Nene might have received Ochibi's help this time, but someday she hoped to become more independent and be able to give Jane and her husband something out of her own effort. Jane thanked the kids again for the wristwatches and promised to cherish them. Nene was glad those two liked the gift, and Ochibi was happy for her. Then she asked Joshua if she could ask a favor. She wanted to know if they could take a delivery break tomorrow. He told her it would be fine. They still have some spare stock. And if it's too much of a burden, they could even have deliveries with a day gap in between. Ochibi asked if that was really okay. Was it because her items were not selling well or something? Joshua replied it wasn't like that. It's just the items they were selling were luxury, so they have to pick their customers while selling them to make the products more special. It'll increase the product's value through various strategies. The kids were amazed how well Joshua and Jane handled the business, and they were actually having fun to show off their skills and work every day after handling their delivery. They don't have anything else to do for today. Oni asked Ochibi why she asked for a day off from delivery tomorrow. She replied because she thought it would be great to have more free time, since they have been working hard to get out of slums. And also, right after making deliveries, they had guild training and were busy last week, so they deserve a break once. Moreover, Ochibi also wanted to save her wishes to thank her beloved Nene and Oni. She was inspired by how Nene showed her gratitude to Jane. Ochibi also wanted to do something for Nene and Oni, so she asked them if there was anything they wanted, since they had some free wishes. Oni wanted to have some delicious food, best of its meat, and when she asked Nene about her wish, Nene told her that she would like to taste the honey as well. Ochibi was shocked by her wish, and Nene told her it's fine if she can't, since it was really expensive. But Ochibi was actually feeling extremely bad, because this whole time, Nene had something sweet and delicious right in front of her. But she had to hold back because the buyout price was too high. She held back because Ochibi was only thinking about money. She feels guilty and says sorry for not thinking about Nene's feelings. Nene told her it's totally fine. Ochibi worked really hard for them to get out of the slums. They were even able to register at the guild and repay the favor to Jane. All this became possible because of Ochibi, which meant a lot for her. Oni also added Ochibi was the one to think about everything, so she has nothing to apologize for. Ochibi can't help but get a little emotional, and she promised to serve them really delicious food to make up for the patience they had until now. Nene and Oni were thankful for her either way, and Ochibi thought about what to get for those two. She decided to get large servings of authentic aged beef jerky and a commercial set of jam sachets for school lunches. Nene and Oni still haven't gotten used to big boxes appearing out of nowhere and asked what it was. Ochibi told them it was a box full of flavored dried meat. Oni wanted to taste it right away, while Ochibi added just how special this meat was in taste he'll definitely love it. And in another box were packets filled with lots of honey in various flavors. There were a total of 1,200 packets inside, so they could eat all they wanted with bread. They thanked Ochibi for the delicious food, but Nene asked her what about her she wanted. They want to know what Ochibi truly wants. Ochibi hasn't thought about it, while Nene wonders if Oni and she received honey and dried meat because they want it. What does she want? Oni also told she should get what she wants as well. Ochibi can't help but be moved to see they were still thinking about her at a time like this. They didn't abandon her even if times got hard, and while Ochibi was focused on making money, she didn't even consider their feelings. They still thought of her first rather than themselves. It all made her cry, and she apologized for it. Nene and Oni were startled to see her cry all of a sudden and asked her why she was crying. She told them thanks and said she loved them, and as she began to quiet down, she said that she wants to be with them forever. They didn't expect the little one to worry about that, and assured her they would always be together with her. Ochibi realized what she truly wanted. She crafted a board game 9 in one set as she wanted to play together with them. Nene and Oni asked if that's what she wanted. Ochibi replied that what she wanted was to have fun with them. They asked her to teach how to play this game, and she was satisfied to be spending free time with Nene and Oni. Later that evening, Oni and Nene tried the dried meat and honey. They remarked it was really delicious. They can't eat that much, though, Ochibi thought, and suggested they should share it with others. They went to Hunter's Guild, and Irene greeted the team promotion and asked what they were planning today. Oni told her they just came to share something with her. They wanted to thank her for help in various ways, and gave her 10 sets of honey and dried meat. Irene could tell they looked really delicious, but she wondered what this actually was. Nene told her it was honey with different flavors, and it tasted like happiness. Irene wondered if it was okay for her to have something this precious. They assured Did was free to go ahead and try it. Irene was glad her snack for tonight with drinks was decided, and she thanked them for the gift. Next, They went to Master Mason's place. Irene was happy to see the kids enjoying themselves. However, when she looked at the packet again, she wondered what this transparent bag was. It does not leak at all and doesn't give off any scent either, making her wonder just what kind of technology was used to make it. Right then, an old man called out Irene and asked if he could take a look at what she had at hands. The next day, the same old man, along with others including Mason and Irene, summoned the kids for a talk, making Ochibi worried just how they ended up in this situation. Just a while ago, they came to the Hunter Guild to look for some quests to kill time. It took a quest to mow the grass, and the whole work was done by Oni and Nene with their magic. Then Irene greeted them and thanked them for the treat, adding it was really delicious. It was her first time tasting something like that. Ochibi asked if she also liked the honey, to which Irene replied it was great and all. The dried meat was just the best, and she had a blast with the salty punch to it along with many spices and flavors. Ochibi remembers Irene got a knack for drinking. Then they heard someone asking what they were talking about. The kid saw it was Master Mason, and he complimented the honey and its sweetness. He loved how well it went with the bread. The kids didn't expect Mason to have a sweet tooth, while Irene was totally different, having a knack for spicy snacks. Irene then asked if the team promotion got some time, after which they ended up being called in for a meeting with some other guys from Guild. The kids were scared if they did something wrong to end up here. Nene was trembling all over. Then the old man apologized for calling them suddenly and introduced himself as the Guild Master Logan.